This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Beach Talk Radio, episode number 182. Coming to you live from Beach Talk Radio's Peach Time Out studio in Times Square, right here on Fort Myers Beach. And, of course, we'd like to thank all the local businesses that make this show, the website, and the newsletter possible. Best Western Island Oils, Fort Myers Tiki Tours, Nervous Nellies, Margaritas next door, Sanibel Carts on Sanibel, because that's where Sanibel Carts is, dear. It's on Sanibel. Also State
Thank
Insurance
you.
USA, Sun Palace Vacations, La Ola Restaurant, Tuckaway Cafe, Blue Ribbon Events, Beach Pottery, Shuckers, and of course, United States Sugar. We'd like to thank U.S. Sugar for being our number one sponsor.
Not even funny to me.
Just kidding.
That is not even
U.S.
funny
Sugar
to
is
me.
not a sponsor of our show. You know, the whole thing with the U.S. Sugar posts, we'll have to talk about that. It was
Don't get me
silly.
started.
It was so silly. It's not a big deal. But I have a surprise for you as we start the show today. I would like to share this surprise with you. One of the things that
Oh boy.
we've been kind of complaining about to each other on the weekends,
Oh boy.
is that we really haven't set any goals fitness-wise, dear, have we?
Oh no.
Yeah, we really.
I'm not following. I'm not doing anything you say just because you've gone ahead and done it without a
video here. This is the wife here. Look at that. Do you know what that's from?
Is that Utah? Must be Utah.
It looks like a Spartan race or something, right?
Yeah,
The Spartan
it's like Utah.
is the
I
only.
think that's the one you didn't make it up.
Oh, stop!
I think
Stop.
it is.
So this is the Spartan, but I'm not showing you the Spartan for any reason.
Come on, Kim, pull! Come on, Kim, you can do it!
There you go! Knees up! Knees up! You got
Let's go,
it!
Kim!
Knees up!
You got it!
You can do it!
Come on, Kim, hit the bell!
Yeah!
Great.
Totally. I was so happy that I made it up that and you guys were cheering me on like crazy. But when I went back and watched that video that guy smoked me going up and I mean it was crazy.
The thing with the ropes is you have the little knot. For that one, they have the knots in the rope.
I know, but
Which it kind of makes it look like, or makes it a little bit easier because you can put your feet on the rope and climb up. He just used his arms.
I
It
know,
was like a monkey. He
I know,
went right up
I
the
know.
thing, but
It was
he only
crazy.
weighed 80 pounds too, which
well,
helped
and
out.
I'm sure I had 20 years on him for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, at least for sure.
So-
Yeah. So back to the point that I want to make is that, we've been sitting around saying, being the COVID thing and just not being able to be as active as we were. Now that things seem to be getting back to normal, at least in Florida, I signed us up for a Savage Race in November. A big hand of applause for Eddie. Yes. The Savage Race is held in Dade County. I think it's Haines City or Dade City or somewhere up there. It's 5 to 7 miles and 27 obstacles.
It is 6.2 miles this year. So if Christina Marco
you're interrupting me. I have a
is
whole
she watching,
spiel here.
you need to call Katie right now.
I already talked to Katie.
You don't know who Katie is.
Okay, we'll see on Monday when you go back to work. I talked to Katie, and I let Katie know that I signed us up last weekend so that I could run all week and get a head start because I needed a week head
why
start.
You're doing all this cardio.
I started doing all the running starting on Sunday, and then Monday I ran in the rain, and so I need to get a head start on you.
I'm supposed to go backpacking that week too.
November 13th November 13th. We're in the 10 o'clock wave at the Savage Race. You could look it up if you want to join us, everybody. And your friend Katie, I told her that we're going to be there to support her and take pictures and videos of her. The great thing about the Savage Race is there are 27 obstacles, but the first obstacle is a dumpster full of ice water.
Yep.
So you run a mile and
not even. You run about 500 yards, and then you have to get in the ice water.
You get in the ice water, and then you have to go underneath the 2x4 because there's barbed wire above it. It's electrocuted barbed wire. Just kidding, Katie. There's no electrocuted barbed wire. But you have to go under. And if you're in an early wave, you're getting all the ice. I mean, one year I tried to dive off so that I could go under and then get out real quick because, of course, I hate the water.
Well, Sue, since you have done this to me, folks, wait for later today to check out the page because I'm going to post the picture of Mr.
With the spoons?
No.
Okay. Don't bring the spoons
of this guy,
up.
Mr. Brave and Determined, going down the slide with the best look of horror
that was
on
a Savage
his
race
face.
Too.
Yes.
It wasn't.
They have a big slide that you go down, and he is like pinned up against it, screaming
I was
in
handing
fear.
it up for the camera. How dare you make fun of me like that?
It's hilarious. That is a great picture.
Now I lost my place here. One of the first years that we went and did this race and jumped in the dumpster, I had a GoPro on my head, and the GoPro fell off, and it was on the bottom of the dumpster, and I completely forgot that I had it on, and so I'm now, instead of just turning around, I'm halfway down through the race, and I realized, the GoPro is gone. So I called the guy that runs the race on Monday, I said, my GoPro was in your dumpster, the dumpster with the ice in it. And so he went, okay, I'll check it out. So he went and found the GoPro. It made it through the entire day of the race. And then it had all of the
everybody
video
kicking it around, and it was funny
of ice water.
Yep.
So anyway, that's coming up November 13th. And by the way, we'll be staying at the Gaylord Palms in Orlando that weekend, and Jilly will be coming up. So it won't be a complete waste of a weekend.
Wow. You really went all out.
She knew about the whole thing. So, and that's our anniversary.
It's kind of our anniversary.
We like to do races during our anniversary, everybody. So let's get to our first great guest. And also, as Janeen comes on and tells us about the film festival, the 15th annual film festival, don't forget that the Island Hopper Song Festival starts this weekend. Also, they're over on Captiva this weekend, and then they're down here next weekend. And Jay, Alan, and Kylie are coming. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can download the Island Hopper Songwriters Festival app on your phone, and then you can see where everybody's playing. You can see what time they're playing, which is really cool. We're going to be at Nervous Nellie's doing a show after this show next Saturday because they have
things I don't know.
You don't need to know everything.
Don't know.
You're on a need-to-know basis, and we'll be down there.
You're going to be on a need-something list.
We're going to be down there next Saturday, and so we hope to see you down there. They're going to be blocking off the whole Bayside Park area, and having their artists come down there. So check that out. You can download the app. And right now, we'd like to introduce our favorite person in all of the world, and then some, Janeen. I'm not even going to say your last name because I always butcher it. So Janeen is here to tell. Did you bring the question of the week, by the way?
I did not. I figure we can make it up as we go today.
Great. Janeen is the one that supplies us with the question to give away the tickets to the Beach Theater. And so she's also here to tell us about the 15th annual film festival being held at the Beach Theater. Janeen, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us this morning.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm super excited. Oh, look at this.
Nice. Oh, very nice.
Yes. I'm super excited.
This is really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited, as you talk about songwriters, that we're doing 2 events back to back here in Fort Myers Beach in September. So, the slowest month of the year for us here. So this is going to be great for all of us. We've been doing rockin' down at the Beach Theater the last few days.
Yeah. So when did it begin?
So Tuesday night we did our opening reception. First time we did something like that. We extended it to a 6th day, and we had about 75 people inside the Beach Theater, and it was amazing. We had a lot of fun. We have 120 filmmakers here, so they've been coming in. And we have a full schedule. We start at 3. Actually, we start a little bit earlier with the Filmmakers Hospitality Lounge at 10. And we go all the way. I was mentioning to you, we went until 11:30 last night. So full day of films, both Beach Theater, regular films, and then our independent films.
And so it's been going on this week.
This week, yes.
And so what is on the docket today, tomorrow?
So today we have the films that are started at 3 o'clock. and they'll go again until 11 o'clock tonight.
Wow.
Tomorrow morning, we start again welcome to our filmmakers, and then we have screenings at 3 until I think 6, and then we move over to Doc Ford's for our closing ceremony. They're generously hosting our award ceremony. We do a little nomination reel, and then we give out our awards to the best of the best.
And when people in the beginning of the day, there's a meet and greet, right?
There is. We do from 11 and 2. We invite the filmmakers to come in and have lunch and kind of network with each other because they come from across the country. And we actually have 2 international guests with us this year, which is, usually we do have international guests, but with travel and COVID, we're glad to have them this year.
So what has the turnout been so far? People have been chomping at the bit to get back to this?
They have been. Actually, they really have. Like I said, 120 filmmakers. Apparently, you're blocking my view.
I got my chair so
why
far
why do you have that hat on? If you're not going to support the show, why have a hat on at all?
Because my hair, and I forgot the other one.
Give her a break.
Go ahead.
Surprised her this morning already.
Yes.
I know. I'm all verklempt.
So, anyway, we have 134 films that we're screening, and we've had attendees locally from Fort Lauderdale up to Sarasota. So we're expanding our reach with film goers coming down to see us.
Awesome. And where are they all coming from? Like, are they coming from Hollywood? Are they coming from down the street or?
No, actually, they're, like I said, they're coming from across the country, which is so surprising to us. He was not, because he was worried about your hat
and my hair
and your hair.
She had a
and
bad
how he's
hair
going to
day
tell you
this
about
morning.
the next surprise he has coming
That's
up
right.
in between
That's right.
Dan and I. No, they actually are. There's some from Hollywood, of course, but they're Atlanta. We have people from Philadelphia here, everywhere. It's across the country.
And by the way, I want to remind everybody that Janeen and Jan were given a nice award by the town council for what was the award again for?
Citizen of Distinction, I think it was
Citizen
called.
of Distinction. Yes. And you got your name plastered on town hall. They have a tree up there, and
it was amazing.
Yeah.
I found out about it from you guys. Actually, you did a really nice article in your newsletter, so thank you. And so it's been exciting. I worked for the town hall for 9.5 years.
Oh, you did?
I did.
You told us that in the earlier
so
show.
When that tree went up, it was dedicated to John Mulholland, who was an environmentalist, and he was very special to me. He was a mentor. So to sit in there and to have my name on that tree, it was just, they've changed it a little bit and included the Citizens of Distinction.
Very cool.
That's something you will not have to worry about writing a speech for.
No, there's
you
not
never
going to
know.
be.
You never know. A girl like me got on there. Come on.
Yeah, the reason that she got on there with Jan was because of the hashtag.
It was
FMB.
a cumulative of all the things she's done, but I
think that was the main thing.
It was.
How dare you interrupt me like that? That was the reason they got it, because COVID hit and Janine and Jan, and was it the two of you? And then
Anita, we had a whole team.
Yeah, why wasn't Anita in that group?
Actually, Anita nominated us.
Oh, that's right.
For it.
Okay. Well, she's probably got enough damn awards anyway. She doesn't need
her
another
name's
one.
on the tree, of course, already.
Right. So, and then for those folks that don't know, that campaign was built for the workers down here that were kind of out of work or lost their jobs, and maybe they didn't lose their jobs, but they certainly weren't getting as many tips as they were because the places were closed down here.
Exactly.
And you guys raised money and bought Publix cards, and folks could come and pick them up and buy beer with them, which is probably what a lot of them did.
They
can buy whatever they want with them.
They what?
They could buy beer with them.
They did not buy beer with them. They bought food for their families.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
That was I'm not going to listen to the other part of it. I'm going to choose to believe that they got themselves.
But beer you couldn't exclude beer, right?
I'm saying they got some great dinners for their families.
They don't sell beer at Publix, dear. What are you worried about?
So on Saturday, today at 10:30, they have Alan on acting. So that is what is that about?
So that has been canceled. Alan Zarnay is a writer.
Sorry.
We're very sorry. He's under the weather in the hospital.
Oh, does he have COVID?
No,
none of your business.
No,
I can't ask that.
Oh, I don't know, and I answered it, but he does not have COVID.
Okay.
But we found out late
yesterday. I didn't
yesterday.
ask him if he was vaccinated, dear. Chill out.
Go ahead. Well, that's a shame.
It is a shame. He comes every year. He's a friend of the festival. He puts on an acting workshop here. He does it over on the East Coast. So he brings it here so that our locals can attend. And he's a famous director. He has a movie out that premiered last night at our festival. And so we're sad. He actually he comes over here from the festival, and being part of it. He's filmed on Captiva. He's filmed around our island. So we're sad that he
Well,
can't
we
be
wish
here.
him well.
Me too. He's
Speedy
a very
recovery.
Good friend of mine.
Yeah. And now I lost my train of thought, dear. But go ahead. You're looking at the calendar there.
Thank you.
Well, I'm afraid to bring everything else
That
is on.
Everything else is on, and we're super excited.
And tickets, where can people get tickets?
On our website, fmbfilmfest.com. $8. It's a bargain.
That's it?
It's it. Because we want people to come and see what these filmmakers have been doing. They're independent filmmakers. They don't have a big budget like the Hollywood films.
Yeah.
Their goal is to show it as many festivals as they can, so someone will take a look at it and hopefully buy it. We have had some that have been bought and then seen on TV or in the movie theaters. So that's what their goal is. So support them.
How are things going at the theater since it reopened? And
we had a very, very busy theater. I know you had Nick Campo, one of the owners, on, and we had a rockin' summer. It surprised us all. And September, we actually slowed down a little bit last weekend, and then we picked right back up. This weekend we have Cry Macho with Clint Eastwood.
He's 91.
I know. God bless him, right?
He punches somebody in that film, doesn't he?
Actually, somebody told me that yesterday as they were coming out. They said that it was
That's
a really
real
good
man. That's a real man right there.
They said that it's a really good film too.
Yeah.
So.
What do you?
Well, no.
You're never going to see Clint Eastwood wearing a dress. That's what I'm saying. He's a real man. I
am not even going there.
I don't even know if I should go there.
A lot in this book that's amazing. There's little vignettes about each film, and it's separated like Florida made, and then there's shorts and international shorts, and then my favorite is the documentaries.
It's my favorite too. Every year, that's my favorite section. I love to sneak in. I've seen all of the films that we're screening, but I like to sneak in and
You've seen all of these
that we're screening. Yeah, of
wow.
course. I'm the executive director. If I don't watch them, then I'm in trouble.
Yeah, how many total films are there?
134.
Get out.
Yeah.
There's no way you watch them all.
We have thousands of entries. Yes, we are. There's a Film Freeway where we submit our films. We're one of the top 100 in the country of film festivals on Film Freeway. So Little Fort Myers Beach is making its name for itself in the
Do any of
world.
these films ever wind up on Netflix or?
They do. The CNN, we had one of our documentaries about the band Chicago. It premiered at our festival, and CNN bought it, so it's screened a couple of times. There's been a few others that have been picked up by Lifetime.
Yeah.
So
any TikTok videos come through or anything like that?
You know what? I'm not a TikToker, but they have shown my staff at the theater have shown me a couple of the TikToks that the filmmakers have made.
Wouldn't they be like really short then? Wouldn't they?
They are.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't get the TikTok.
No, I don't get it either.
There's some really
old.
We have a question from our live studio audience. Now, I don't know if this
really
is a real question
ones.
because he's a buffoon half the time, but he wants to know about the Orchid Girls.
Orchid Girls?
Is there such a thing as Orchid Girls selling orchids in the theater?
So we used to actually.
Okay.
It was another way.
He
does know a way. So we did a little market before I started at the theater helping them out. They did in the parking lot another way to raise money. During COVID, they were selling orchids when they were doing their breakfast outside when we were able to do that. So we don't have the orchids for sale right now. But it is something that people have been asking about. So we're considering how to maybe put them in the Santini Market or the Beach Baptist.
Dear, you're supposed to read these books before the show, not
they're
during
not
the
books,
show.
but
how about asking a question?
Program, guys.
Well, I'm just reading. I mean, there's some of them are great.
There's Anita with Captain
and
America.
Isn't that
This
Seal?
It is Seal
yes.
and the late great Dan Hughes, and this is my husband who.
That is Dan. Look at Dan. He looks like he's
Dan was a huge
totally
film festival, and so is Seal. But they were huge film festival supporters.
Very cool.
So,
So can you give us some of your favorite picks out of all of them, or is that really hard to do?
Because I have filmmakers watching that I promoted that we
They're
would be
all
on this morning. They are all great. I love all of our filmmakers that are with us. Our programming team. Kyle Thompson and Red Flight Pictures they are up in Philadelphia, and they come down every year for the film festival. They coordinate the submissions for the film festival.
We have another question from a young gentleman that lives in Orlando, Florida. His first name is Dave. Thank you, Dave. I'll ask your question for you. He'd like to know if your film festival is annual.
It is. It's annual.
That's why it's the 15th annual.
It is the 15th
well,
annual.
we might not. Did we mention that?
He's
Maybe
getting on in years, so sometimes he's woo.
So it is annual. We took a 5-year break in the 2000s, and then we came back. But it is annual every year in April. So we'll be back in just a few short months in April. We moved it to September.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure the numbers were good. with COVID. So we moved it to September, which worked out well because it's a slow time.
Yeah.
So it's every April, usually the third weekend in April.
And there's still a lot of films to be seen, so people should get out there.
Oh,
get
today's
their
a
tickets.
busy day. Yep.
Today is a busy. Well, do you know offhand what's on? Oh boy, your
Did
eyes
you look
went
at-
right
I was
up. Like,
cut to commercial.
So people can go on the website.
Go on the website to check it out. You'll be able to download our program guide right on the website, so you can take a look.
Cool.
But our schedule is there and the film descriptions.
That's a lot of films.
There, quickly look.
So during the
Let's see
film
what's on
festival, you're
today.
still doing the regular movies?
We are doing regular movies. So we have
Okay.
Cry Macho, Cop Shop, and Shang-Chi. I don't know how
What
to
is
say
Cop Shop? Who's in that one?
it. You know, you're going to put me on the spot.
I haven't-
don't
I know.
You'll have to forgive me. I have been so busy with this, and I'm sorry to my Beach Theater
I
fans.
will say today that Everything in the End is playing international short films. There's some short film packages, and some of the documentaries that look super fantastic are on today. Anchor Point, Kiss the Ground, which that really looks interesting to me, and Fred Penner, This Is My World. So
Janine,
Get
what
out
is your
there today.
favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time is called Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour.
I
Oh.
saw
It is
that.
an old movie.
It's a
but
love story. I love love
it's
stories.
Mackinac Island. It's a great story. That one, and then the musical Chicago. I
Ah.
love movies.
Dear, what
so-
is your favorite movie?
Well, it's not quite as classy as
Sure.
Jane's, but my favorite indulgence movie has always been Top Gun.
Oh, here we go again with the Tom
our
Cruise
family
crap.
favorite movie is Talladega Nights. So
There you go.
we literally quote Talladega Nights. I mean,
Who's
I'm
in
not that classy.
Who's in Talladega Nights?
Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on, you need to see that
No.
movie.
Have you seen how fat Vin Diesel's gotten?
I love Vin Diesel.
I know, but he's kind of bloated now. I mean, how does he still doing those? How does he fit in the car? Those
I
Fast
know,
and
they're
Furious
going
cars.
to space now in
I
those
don't-
movies.
That's
Those
why
Fast
he's
and
going to
Furious, I mean,
spaceship now
they're-
because he can't fit in the car anymore. My
Oh,
favorite movie,
my
I know you want to
goodness.
ask me that,
Oh,
is
yes.
is Shrek, of course. Yeah.
Shrek
Yeah.
is a good
I love
one.
that one.
They
yeah.
are.
And
Those are
Thing
very
one,
funny
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
They are.
yeah.
They're quirky and they're made for adults.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
kids watch it and think they're funny, but the adults think they're
Right,
funnier.
right. Because we get the dirty
get the-
humor.
yes.
Right.
Do you
right.
remember where you saw Shrek?
in the movie theater?
No, I
dear?
know. What town?
No, I don't
Oh.
remember.
I
you?
do. Yeah,
Where?
Oneonta.
Is that what? Is
Yeah.
that long ago? Wow.
Well, we
that's a
weren't living
long
there.
time
We were
ago.
visiting.
Oh, I
So
see.
there you go.
Yeah. All right. Anything else about the film festival,
No, I just
Janine?
want to say I'm sorry to all of the Mountain House people that came out last night. We had our outdoor screening of Raya and it stormed.
Oh, rain.
So they got the screen up. Thank you to the Epic Pictures and Twilight Features, who was one of the sponsor for last night. They set up the screen, had everything going. They're ready to do it in the rain, but then the lightning came, so
Oh,
they had
yeah.
to cancel. So Nick of Epic Pictures said they will be back, and they will do it again. They promise they'll come back.
What a great idea that is.
We love it. The
Yeah.
Mountain House is a perfect venue. We do
Oh,
all-
it's beautiful
it's
there.
so yeah, it really is, and we can watch the boat from the back bay.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah. Now, when is the next one planned for? Do you know yet?
At the Mountain House,
Yeah.
We don't know. So it just happened last night with the rain. So
What is it
feel
with
bad.
you if you're like totally involved with movies now? It's the
I've
whole.
always been. I was worked for the town.
Have you been
actually,
an actress?
2002. Oh, yeah. Okay.
What movies have you been in?
I can't tell you on
I see,
radio.
I see.
I love
That's
the
fine.
look on your face with that one. Yeah. Okay.
When you
I'm
say you
very
can't
expressive.
tell me,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
mean
right.
by that?
No. No, I'm not. I'm a film fan, and I tell everybody that. When the filmmakers come in, they ask me about it. I'm a film fan. So 2002, when we started this with the town of Fort Myers Beach, I was like, "Hey, I'm a film fan.
Do you prefer to go to the movie theater or to watch movies at home on your 51-inch screen?
It's got to be at the movie
Yeah,
theater.
yeah.
It's got to be at the movie theater. There's
Popcorn.
something about just walking into a movie theater, smelling the popcorn, and seeing
Yeah.
that big screen. Definitely.
We should do that once in a while. We don't
Well,
do that anymore.
no,
you know,
we
the
don't.
movie theater at Gulf Coast isn't even open.
I don't know if that's true, actually.
Well, maybe it's not open when I go to the
I'm
gym
not
at
sure
11
if it's
o'clock in the morning.
Regal
Might
at
be open.
Coconut, I'm not sure is open. So
Yeah.
come down to the beach theater and see
Yeah.
me and check out
Well,
the
you guys have
films.
great food down
We
there
do.
too.
Homemade food.
And dear, they have alcohol. I know that's what
And we
you're
have
thinking.
alcohol.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
So if somebody can't catch any of these movies here, where are these going to be? How does it work? Are these going to be launched, or this is the process for them getting launched?
This is the process. So right now they'll be at other festivals, and they really don't. You can't. Sometimes we're able to rescreen them. We used to do it like during the summer, but obviously it won't. But we can't rescreen them because they're going to other festivals, and
Got
they're
it.
trying to get bought. And so some of them we've actually had, they're not in the program guide. We had 3 films pull out because they did get distributors.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, that's really, really cool when you hear that. We're sad they can't participate, but we're really excited to find out that someone picked them up and they're moving into the next process.
Now, can they make some serious dough with this, or
At the film festivals?
not at the film festival? If
With
the
the
movie
movies?
gets picked up,
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, when at
Well,
CNN,
yeah.
the Chicago band film that was 3 years ago, I
Yeah.
think, with us now. Yeah, they got picked up by CNN and they screened it. I saw it 4 times on CNN. So,
Wow.
yeah.
how much you think how much can somebody make doing this?
Again, I'm just a film
Yeah,
fan, so
right.
I stay out of all of that.
Gotcha.
But
What
I know they're happy.
what film have you watched the most? Like, is there one movie that you've watched many times, too many times?
Talladega
Okay.
Nights, because my son will have it on, and then I catch it and we quote it.
I've never watched a movie more than once.
Oh no!
I've never read a book more than once.
Oh. Do
Yeah.
you retain all the information?
No,
'Cause
I
sometimes
never.
have
I
to
don't
go back
retain
and
any
read it, and I'm like,
information.
did I
No.
read this
When I
already?
watched
Did
the
I watch
movie
this?
once, why do I care about retaining it though? But maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way.
Well, and I want to thank, is it Tanya that sent the information?
Yes, Tanya is our PR coordinator. She's been with us for 4 years now. She's amazing. She had to leave early. So my team this year, we had Jan as our hospitality chair.
Jan Fleming. Yeah.
And she had a wedding. Tanya,
I invited her on the show, and
I
she said she was going to be out of
She's
town.
Tanya is out of town at a wedding.
Oh,
wow.
Well, lucky you're
Ellen
here.
is sick, so we've had like a little bit of a rough year, but Kyle, our programming director, and I have got this. We're moving along.
Cool.
Well, I was interested to read about these kids, to me, these young adults who won these awards.
Yeah, so Zach, he was in the movie Peanut Butter Falcon. He is the first Down
Actually,
syndrome.
Janine, that was what I was going to suggest as the trivia question, but forget it now.
Oh, great.
Bye.
I did really
Bye-bye.
well on that. Let's see if they were paying attention. But I'm really proud. He's an amazing actor. He's an amazing person to talk to. He was the first one to present at the Oscars. First Down syndrome actor to
I didn't
present
know
at
that.
the Oscars.
I don't watch the Oscars.
Yeah.
I
Well, you
think those.
should.
I would have watched it for him, but I
Yeah.
just don't. I think those
A
people
friend
are
of mine
full
was
of
the
themselves.
president of the
and-
Academy, and she just stepped
Oh,
down
wow.
2 years ago. So
Who was that?
Cheryl Boone Isaacs.
Of course.
And guess where
of
I met
course.
them? Here at the Fort Myers Beach Film Festival.
No kidding.
Wow. Small world.
I
Or
know.
not. Small
Exactly.
international
Small
word.
international world.
Crazy.
I know.
Well, we know you got thousands of things to do. Did
I
we
do,
miss
actually.
anything of
Like some sleep, maybe?
Just a little bit of sleep.
Yeah.
It was a late night. I lost my hotel key, so that was interesting.
Really?
I did. I
Did you-
found it. It was all
Okay.
good.
What
But,
hotel are you staying at?
Gulfview Manor, thank you for being a sponsor.
Oh,
along
cool.
with the Lighthouse Motel is our official
Nice.
host.
Yeah. Pete's Time Out. There's
Yeah.
a lot
Pete's Time.
of,
Yeah, everybody stepped up. There,
a lot of local sponsors.
and a lot
The
of
thing
longtime
about the beach is
sponsors.
all these businesses, they sponsor everything.
Yep.
I mean, they really, you walk in, they'll hand you a check.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're hesitant to ask, because
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. They want to
a
give.
great wise woman told me the same thing.
They wanna
Don't be
give.
afraid to ask.
Yeah.
So
What's the worst I could say?
no.
The
and
worst
then
sales-
I
the
say,
worst
what else
sales-
can I do?
Did anyone ever kick you out? No. I've got kicked out of
Yeah.
places when I was selling.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
you're-
I've not
Look at
been
me,
kicked
yeah.
out.
I'm
They're
sure
gonna-
she's
I've
got
kicked
a
people
better
out,
You
but
have?
I'm not, I have.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
out of the theater.
Out of the theater, yes.
For what? What were
It's
they
kind of
doing?
my favorite thing. It's super empowering.
What were they doing? Yeah. Just being
being
asses.
loud and
Just
raucous and
obnoxious,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why
But
do they gotta-
not often.
Yeah.
Not often. They
Like-
want to have fun, but sometimes
Yeah.
we gotta
Cut it down.
send them on
Yeah.
their way.
so you're
Janine-
the security of the okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Tough girl
Janine
right
does
here.
everything.
Yeah,
Awesome.
citizen security. There you go.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
I give her the mom love.
Do you ever
and they
punch?
know.
Do you ever punch anybody in the nose? Like at the
No,
theater?
No, never.
How many people
not
did
in my
you-
entire life.
How many people did you want to punch?
Oh, on a daily basis.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Just
How
one
many
time
people
you
wanted
want
to punch me on a daily
No,
basis?
nobody's
Yes.
ever wanted to
You're
punch
not
you.
advocating any violence.
I want
here.
to see
No.
Janine knock some dude out for being an
Never,
ass.
no.
That would be hilarious because you know what? He'd be shamed by all his friends worse than
Exactly.
what?
5'2" Janine. No,
Why,
yeah.
why would that?
No, because the
She's
guys.
a tough. She's,
I don't mean
she's
it like
got
that. I mean the guys are going to be guys. They're going to give their friend.
Well,
you
you're
got
really
knocked
on
out
the
by a
guys
girl.
on guys thing
You got
today.
knocked out by a ladies, as Byron would say.
Listen,
And this segment of the
I'm
show was
sorry.
sponsored by U.S. Sugar. Just kidding, dear. Just kidding.
No
I know you don't like
politics when
sugar.
I'm on. No politics.
No,
Too
we
late.
never-
I'm about events
late.
and entertaining and
That's right.
happy
We
events.
never talk politics when you're here.
No,
But
I would.
now,
no,
when
no.
you worked at this isn't really politics,
Yep.
but when you worked at town hall, what did you do?
I was the finance director.
No kidding.
Mhm.
Cool.
was.
So wow.
Yep, I had a great team. I started off as a receptionist, but I had an accounting background.
Nice.
Short staff. There was only 4 of us at the time. So
now it's like thousands down there. Yeah, they need more buildings.
I'm so proud of our town, and I really am.
I'm proud of them too. Yeah.
That is a bird coming in.
Yeah. What's up with the birds?
Well,
all right. So give out
Janeen.
the information one more time for folks who got lost in his minutia.
So today and tomorrow, Fort Myers Beach Theater. Visit us at fmbfilmfest.com for information on the schedule, the program guide, and how to buy tickets.
All right, everybody. I want to hear you clap your hands at home for Janeen because she's an awesome person in the community. She does so much for the community. And hashtag WeAreFMB is still active right now.
It is. And I just want to mention that keep supporting us at the Fort Myers Beach Community Foundation. And we have an exciting announcement. So I'll be back in December with
tease.
With tease.
That
with
was
some
a tease.
Really great news on what we're doing next.
Oh, crud. I want to know what it is now. Who are you going to bring back? You're going to bring back
anything, but
whatever you do, don't tell
Don't tell me before that day.
I can keep a secret. He is like, bleh.
Yep. No.
Thank you for coming on, Janeen.
Thank you so much for having me.
And good luck the rest of the weekend. We appreciate you coming on very much. And right now, I want to tell you about beach pottery as my wife stretches her legs because, you know, she's getting up in years. So she's got to get up and stretch things out, do a couple of knee bends and stretches and things like that. I don't know if you've been watching the Facebook lately, but they've been posting some really cool stuff on the Facebook. People go to Beach Pottery and they buy pots and other things and they put them outside their front door and what do you need? We're good, dear. Everything's fine. Just do your job. Just do your job. Oh, now she's got to go potty too. Jeepers creepers. And they post their stuff online and people love it because they have their pots from Vietnam outside their front door or outside their back door or inside their house. They can go anywhere because they're so beautiful. The pots at Beach Pottery, if you haven't seen them, you need to get on their website now because they have thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of pots. They're everywhere at Beach Pottery. Or you can call Alana on the phone because she's waiting for your call now. Operators are standing by to take your pot order. And the number is 239-437-4211. That's 239-437-4211. Thousands and thousands of pots imported from Vietnam and Mexico. 8,000. So get over there. And the prices vary. They're all over the place. So you can afford the pots. Get over there and check them out. That's the Beach Pottery. All right. Don't forget now when you have bugs crawling on you or crawling on your wife or crawling on your kids or crawling on your dog, you want to get yourself some Don't Itch It. Island Oils, LLC. I'm ad-libbing it, dear. Don't you worry about it. You take care of business. Because you can get some spray on, you can get some roll on, you can get anything that you want from islandoilsllc.com and keep the bugs away because it's all natural. It smells amazing. You won't smell like BO. You won't smell like dog stuff. You'll smell fabulous. You spray it on yourself and the bugs stay away because the bugs don't want to be on you when you smell that good.
Dan is so thrilled to come in right at the end of that hole.
Well, I thought he was talking about me for a minute.
No. Island Oils, LLC or don'titchit.com. It's 100% essential oils, DEET-free, no water added, no chemicals, and no synthetics. So get yourself some spray there and keep the bugs away because, it's been raining and a lot of the times, like today when I was riding the bike, the bugs were flying into my face. It was like I was eating them. I was killing them. They were climbing in my ears.
There's times when I'm out running on the power lines where of course, that's why they call them no-see-ums. You can't see them. And I run into like a swarm. And then I get back to the house and it's like, just like my face is a windshield.
Like you have chickenpox or something.
Over.
What about you, Dan?
Well, they certainly love me. For some reason, they attack my ankles. And by the time, the no-see-ums get you, it's too late.
Yeah.
My wife thinks I'm crazy. For some reason, they don't attack her like they attack me, but I just tell her it's because I'm sweeter.
That's maybe you need like knee-high socks.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know who's sitting next to us, where have you been? Dan Allers is a town councilman. Now going on, what is it, a year and a half, 2 years?
Year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yeah, wow. Over a year and a half, somewhere like that.
How you liking it, Dan?
I love it. I got involved because I wanted to have a voice, and I have that now. And I'm just trying to do what people tell me is right, or what they feel is right.
Well, let's talk about this last week, because unfortunately it wasn't a good week for the A team, and the A team being Allers and Adderholt. Yeah, we consider you guys the A team. So the first thing I want to make sure I ask you the big question up front. Dare, you're going to have to back up because your beak is in the way.
You put me here.
Did you
Don't
know
put baby in the corner
that there's no comma in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I honestly did not know that, but I have noticed that every time we do it, Mayor Murphy does recite it a little different, and I didn't.
Yeah.
So
now you know.
Well, yeah, I've tried to. It caught me off guard the first couple times I heard it, but
yeah. So would you like to practice it now?
No. I'm good.
All right. Just so everybody knows.
I will go look back though. I did not know that.
There is no comma in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's a little cocktail party humor, I guess. Next time you go to a cocktail party, whenever that is. So a lot of stuff happened this past week. You had two meetings in one night. The first meeting was an M&P meeting, and I want to talk kind of through in order of the things that came up. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in. That's why Dan's here. It's Ask the Councilman Day. The presentation by
you're in the hot seat.
Well, I want to apologize ahead of time. I don't normally drink caffeine or coffee.
Yeah.
So I found this thing that not to be a sad note, but over the last few months, 3 of my family members have passed away. My dad, my grandfather, my
Holy
aunt.
moly.
So it's been a rough year
Sorry
for
the
family. So it's made me rethink some of the things that
some of your habits.
Some of my habits, yeah. So I took up trying some natural type of coffee this morning. It's got me all wound up. So I apologize in advance.
I love how
it's called super coffee. It was on Shark
a
Tank.
natural thing now, and your blood pressure is. Do you feel like
well, I'm wary and hyper enough. I don't think I need caffeine. I can tell you that.
All right. So the first meeting there was a presentation by the Florida Department of Transportation, and I'm going to pop the first picture up here that I want everybody to see. I'm sure you're familiar with it, Nan, but I do want the audience to see this first picture here, because this one here that you brought up a lot about. Yeah. Right now, we're looking at crosswalk hell at the base of the bridge. What the Florida Department of Transportation is proposing looks like more crosswalks than we have now. And everybody on the beach knows that part of the problem with the traffic is that there's people crossing everywhere because the drivers want to be nice. They're letting people cross. They're not crossing in one spot. What the Florida Department of Transportation here is doing is introducing even more crosswalks. What's up with that?
Well, as that was being discussed, I obviously wasn't on council, and but the Public Safety Committee has spent a lot of time and countless hours going through that, making recommendations, sending them up to the council, and then it has gone to FDOT for their, this is what the Public Safety Committee is suggesting, that they agree. As I mentioned in the meeting, I think that's too many crosswalks. I don't like the fact that they're getting rid of that guardrail right in front of the ice cream shop place there. Those are things. I made my points. It's in their hands. They essentially control what happens there. We don't. Now,
on this second picture, Dan, this shows people coming, a shot of coming over the bridge. The ice cream shop is the colorful one there, where a car usually drives through that place once a year, as you mentioned. Are they putting a traffic light right at the base of the bridge? That's what that looks like.
That's my understanding, yes.
So they're putting a traffic light right at the base of the bridge. And are they taking the one out that's further down?
Yes.
Okay, so where the police officer usually stands, they're taking that out. Okay, so what they're doing is they're going to stop traffic at the base of the bridge, which is also a dumb idea.
On both sides. So on the San Carlos side, there's going to be a traffic light there, and then one at the base of the bridge on the other side.
Okay, so my question is, why don't they direct the walkers to one spot and then build a walkover so you're never, ever stopping traffic on the beach? Why not just build one walkover in one spot, put railings up on the sidewalk so you can never, Las Vegas did it, and they can't be any smarter than you guys down here. You can't cross the street in Las Vegas. You have to walk over the roads.
Well, I think it was Councilmember Adderholt that brought that exact same scenario up, not necessarily the Vegas, but the overpass, and mentioned the overpass down at Crescent for Margaritaville. It seems like a legitimate logical answer. At the end of the day, we're not the engineers. We can only relay to them what we see here every single day. And we're all on this island every single day. We see the pedestrian movement. We see where people cut across where there's no crosswalks. We see bikes go across. We see all kinds of things that, in my belief, this is gonna make it even worse.
So
I mean, the roundabout is a great idea. I love the concept. It's the crosswalks and the no guardrails.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but I think, I assume they put in roundabouts to make things flow easier. And then putting crosswalks in there seems like that would be counterintuitive to making things flow better.
Well, that many.
Yeah.
I think was there 8 or something in that little corner there?
It's like a spinning wheel of crosswalks.
Here's the thing that I'm not an engineer. I'm basically borderline stupid. But if you take, there's 2 ways to cross the bridge right now. If you take that, like if you're a walker going over the bridge back to get your car in the free parking lot, why not eliminate that so everybody has to walk on that one side? Whether you're coming or going, you have to walk on that one side. You're already on the beach side. You're never going to get in this scrum on the other side here and have to cross. Most people want to get to the beach, right? Now, if you're on the other side, you're already on the beach side. You're already staying. You're not even going to get in the way of traffic unless you're walking to the traffic light that they're putting up now. To me, now, and then you knock that wall out and you have more space for the cars.
Well, I mean, looking at that picture there, you because you've got this Fifth there and Estero Boulevard, North Estero Boulevard that goes off to the side there. People are going to cross, but you've got the crosswalk at Crescent. It's not that far to walk around that corner to Crescent and cross the street. Fifth, I can understand the crosswalk needed there. I just, to me, it doesn't seem
okay.
It doesn't seem that great. That's a busy intersection.
Let's go back to this picture here. Now, part of what the state thinks is going to deter people from crossing here are the bushes and the shrubbery here. And you know what's going to happen? There's going to be a path through the bushes or over the bushes, and they're going to walk wherever they want to walk. That's just, people just do that. And then part of what the people that are watching might not know also is that once the state puts that in, the town has to take control of maintaining the bushes.
Well, we don't have to take control. They're reaching out to the county and to the town to look for a partner in the maintenance part of it. But they did say that the county has mentioned that they don't want any part in the maintenance. Of course. So that's still negotiations that are going to happen. I mean, I can only make the points. Again, I'm no engineer either. I can only make the points by what I see coming over that bridge and going off that bridge all the time.
Yeah.
So with the foot traffic that you see now, I don't believe that this is going to make it any better. My belief is that this is going to make it worse.
And so did they say a 60% design?
Yeah, they're design approvals. I believe they're waiting for the design approvals to get to the final step.
So how much impact can comments do you feel have on the design at this point to change it or amend it or?
Good question, dear.
Well, I think I've said it on your show. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. The more input you can get from people, the better. As policymakers, the better decisions we can make.
The more you just
the more you funnel your opinion in, the more you get involved, the more you make your voice heard, the more it has an impact. Because if, as a policymaker, you sit back and you get no input from anyone, now it's just kind of, you have to go out and generate the conversations, which I try to do a lot. But it's nice to hear from people unsolicited whether you're for it or against it, whatever it is, make your voice heard, because personally it helps me make the decisions, because now I'm hearing from the people that it affects.
Have you heard much from people on this point?
No, but I'm guessing that we probably will.
Yeah, that's kind of the first time it was.
Well, it's been a while that since FDOT, they were going to come months ago, and it's been delays, and there's been problems and issues have come up, and obviously COVID has been an issue. So everything's been put kind of on the back burner. So it's now that it's out there, I think we're going to start to hear some more from people.
But to be clear, the Public Safety Committee on the beach did not. I mean, they recommended almost the exact opposite of this, correct?
Essentially, yeah.
Zero.
Okay.
John Goggin has been adamant about zero crosswalks in that area. I shouldn't say zero, but pretty close to zero.
Not only do you have to reach out to your council members on the beach, you have to reach out to Ray Sandelli, who's your commissioner for this area, and make your voice heard. Ray, as you guys know, he's a great guy.
Yes.
He listens to people.
Yep.
He's a very common sense guy.
Yeah.
He's very approachable.
Very approachable.
Extremely approachable.
I don't know how much input. Well, Ray's always going to have input, but it's a state project. It's not a county project. It's a state project, right?
It's the three entities working together. It's FDOT, it's the county, and it's the town working together. So everybody's voice can be heard.
I want to make sure I don't forget this, that there is going to be a public hearing. The state didn't say when it was going to be. They said there was going to be a public hearing.
Yes, just,
I don't want to insinuate that they're not going to say when it is. They're very good about stuff like that. Whether they take input from there or not, you don't know. But when the public hearing is, you should show up and talk about those crosswalks.
Well, absolutely. And I think when you heard from the engineer and you heard from the other members from FDOT yesterday or on Thursday, that they were very open to suggestions. They, by no means did they say that this is final and this is what it's going to be. So there's still time, much like the LOSUM, like you had mentioned, there's still time to get your voice out there. Let the people know. I mean, they gave their information out on the screen. Go back and look at it. You can contact DeJuan directly. You can send all the information that you need to send in and make your voice heard.
We're trying to get DeJuan on the show so he can explain it and maybe bring more pictures and things like that. One of the things that I thought was cool that maybe people don't know about is when you come over to the beach, the dual light there that has people kind of fighting for lanes and stuff like that. They're eliminating that. It's going to be one. They're eventually going to go to one light. It's going to stop at the same time. They're going to take those little knobby things out of the middle there, and people will stop at the same time. And there's also a lane when you come in closer to the bridge that you can only turn right. They're going to change that to a lane where you can come over the bridge. And somehow I think it's either got to merge into one lane or they're going to make it two lanes over that's the part where I got lost. I know they're making two lanes, but eventually it turns into one.
Yeah, I mean, time was kind of an issue. So I think there was a lot of questions that were coming from the council. So I think that we tried to squeeze a lot into a small little space. Luckily, we get another bite at the apple. Everybody gets another chance to talk about it. I also didn't quite understand what the transition was going to be from that 2 lanes at Buttonwood, onto the bridge. Is, at face value, it kind of appeared to me that you're essentially just moving the problem from one part of the San Carlos Island to the other end is what it appeared to me. But I could be wrong. We didn't have enough time to explore all those questions.
So speaking of that, you have any other more questions about the state thing before there's so many issues to bring up with Dan.
I think it's
playing cricket later.
You don't have it. You don't have the information
yet. The second part of the first meeting was the Estero Boulevard light consultant came and presented something. For the folks that don't know, you spent up to, I'm going to say you a lot, and I hope you understand. I don't mean you, I mean the council. They spent up to $180,000 on this lighting consultant that was like 4 or 5 months. They made the presentation the other night, and they didn't make a recommendation, which flabbergasted so many people. Like, you're paying $180,000 for a consultant to give you some kind of input because they're the experts, and they don't make a recommendation. And then the second thing was that at some point, it's a county road. Estero Boulevard is a county road. Why the hell would the town spend $180,000 this time? Who knows what the total is when you look back in time on consultants when the county's not even involved in this at all right now? You guys made it seem like, well, whatever we do, the county's got to be involved because it's their road. Well, why aren't they involved now?
Well, I can tell you in my conversations with Commissioner Sandelli and other members of the county, it's been pretty clear to me that we drive the road every single day. It is a county road. They have not said that they won't commit to doing it, but they also haven't said that they will do it.
Will do what?
Will do anything on the road. They've committed to taking care of the crosswalks. That was committed
they put the road in, and they've committed to taking care of the crosswalks.
They've committed back when Larry Kiker was still on the commission. They had committed to covering the illumination of the crosswalks.
Okay.
Now that did not say that they won't do anymore. They did not say that they will do anymore. So I believe that they're waiting for us to make a decision. We're here every day. The people that live on the island, the council members that live on the island, we're here every day. We see it. We know what's best for the island based on what we hear from Public Safety Committee, from the members of MRF, from the general public. We get to hear all this input to make the decision. So I think that they're waiting for us to make a decision. Then we can make a decision.
Okay.
We can make a recommendation, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact we could pick purple lighting and they could say, no, we're not paying for it unless it's
So
this.
I guess my question on the
Right.
consultants is, why would you pay a consultant first, not be like grouped together? Why isn't somebody meeting with the county all the time and say, okay, here's what's going on.
We're
paying
getting an
this.
approved list from the county that
Well,
you can pick from.
Well, the
Thank
county,
you.
the county did meet with Town and Lighting. They did have a meeting with them.
Okay.
I was out of town. I don't know what happened in that meeting. They haven't told us that the county has said this or they've said that. I don't believe the county basically gave them any information to go off of as far as this is what we prefer or this is what we won't prefer. So we don't know. And my biggest disappointment is basically what you said. We didn't get a recommendation. I mean, we've had the MPO study that recommended something. And what's concerning to me
And
is that
just
the original Town and Lighting.
Go ahead. What is the MPO? So
yeah,
people might
yeah.
not know when you.
So the MPO lighting study was one done by the county consultants or
Correct.
the county. So
County.
in that MPO lighting study that was done by the county or the county consultants, did they give recommendations of what they recommend?
They
did.
did. They recommended the 4,000 Kelvin temperature
Right.
lighting.
Okay.
And the reason that we had to go into, or the town had to go into getting another consulting and talking about it, is the argument was, well, they were not directed to look at amber lighting.
Okay.
Now, I don't know. I wasn't involved. I didn't have any decisions. I didn't have any voice in the fight when it came to making the decisions. But
So at that point,
I got to
then-
believe that the MPO knows the laws. I got to believe that the MPO knows exactly what they're looking for. Whether they did or didn't look at amber lighting, I don't know. But that was the reasoning. My understanding is why they went out and got a second consultant to consider the amber lighting. And now we're, in my opinion, not any better off than we were before. We have essentially three choices that were given to us. I mean, I'll be the first to state I don't believe the dual source is a legitimate, reasonable. I think it doesn't make any sense to me. If you still have to have the same amount of poles when it's amber, you're not gaining anything. Right. So I can tell you right now, I'm not in favor of that, but we'll have that discussion, I'm sure, a little further down the road.
When you're
but we still have two. And the point I was trying to make during that meeting is it doesn't have to just be 4,000 Kelvin. When you hear of white, people automatically think 4,000 Kelvin. It can be a much lower Kelvin temperature that brings you much closer to the amber spectrum. And let's not forget, if one specific light was required, why do we even need consultants? Why do we even, if the law is this?
Well, Dan, why?
Why are we having the
and
yeah, Dan, why?
But that's
why?
Well, a very wise man once said to me, there's a lot of money in confusion.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but you bring up a good point that if the county, your assumption that the county knows the rules and the laws for lighting on a beach that has the turtle, population. So it is curious that the recommendation didn't have that in its thought, in its thought process, that the 4,000, I mean,
you're talking about the MPO recommendation.
The MPO recommendation.
Well, and a lot of people get confused with the word safe. Both lights are safe. If you have enough of both lighting, or both lights are safe. It just comes at a cost, and it comes, to a footprint on the environment, going one way versus the other. And both have their pros and cons. But the fact that, this is my personal opinion, the fact that we are being told that it has to be one or the other is upsetting to me.
By
because
who? By the
because that's just, you have people that want specific amber lighting, and
right.
you have people that want a whiter light. So, but my point I was trying to get across to them is that there's a median in there. There's a light that's close to amber and not as bright that can be used. And I was trying to get that out of them, that can it be, I understand FWC requires amber lighting, but does that mean that we have to have amber lighting? I understand that FDOT likes 4,000 Kelvin lighting. Does that mean we have to have it? Those are the answers that I'm going to ask.
Well, why didn't the consultant answer those questions? You paid them $180,000.
I don't know. I wasn't all that impressed with the report, as I don't think anybody was.
Do you think the $180,000 was a good use of the taxpayers' money?
Well, all I can tell you is I was one of the 5 people that voted to spend it. So, I mean, if
But now
people
that
want
it's-
to point the finger, I'm one of the
Oh,
5 you should
no.
point it at.
Now that you've got the report, was it a good use of money?
I'll say no.
Okay. Fair enough.
and
Thank you for
so-
being honest. So before
wait a minute, I just want to ask the number of consultants, lighting, like how many studies have been done?
I don't know, but someone made a pretty good point to me the other day or yesterday or this morning. I don't remember exactly when it was, that essentially where we're at now is it's on the 5 of us to become experts because we've gotten no recommendation.
Yeah.
They actually said, we're not going to give you a recommendation. These are your 3 choices. And just tell us which direction you want to go.
That's crazy. That was the thing that was dumbfounding about the whole thing. I mean, make a recommendation. You got paid to didn't they get paid to make a recommendation, or did they get paid to give you options? I don't want to be unfair.
Didn't they make a recommendation a couple iterations ago, and then it wasn't, Amber wasn't considered, so they went back?
Well, let's not, let's leave the MPO out of it for a little.
Okay.
No. I mean, the town lighting people, didn't they?
The way I read it was their first recommendation was the 4,000 Kelvin white light.
The town lighting people, their first.
That's my understanding. And then, as discussions happen with Murph and with public safety, they came off that and they kind of changed it. And then it's now, in my opinion, it's changed again to where it's kind of, well, we really don't know what to recommend to you, but here's your 3 options. Tell us what you want to do. That's my interpretation of the way I read the report and the way I got answers back during that M&P meeting.
One of the folks that watches the show had a great point. The town, owns Estero Boulevard from Times Square to Bowditch.
Correct.
Why don't you put up a couple of amber lights over there and test them out?
Well, as I said at the end of the meeting, not to fast forward, but under the councilor items at the very end of the meeting, I drive that road every single day when I go to work, and I never noticed it. But for anybody that's listening or anybody that wants to see for themselves, it's already done for us. We don't have to spend the money to show you if you just want to take a little car ride. You ride your bike by it every single time you come down here. When you go past Little Hickory, if you look, that's, I always call it Bonita Beach Road, but when you go over the bridge and you're just going down that little thing before you make the curve towards 41, pay attention to the lights that they have there. It's the same road that we have going down Estero. The same houses that block the beach. The only thing between the lights and the beach are those houses. Pay attention to what color those lights are. And then as you get to Highway 41, take a right and head towards Collier County. As you're going south,
on 41
from Bonita Beach Road south, if you look at the lights, look up and look at the lights. Obviously, you got to go when it's dark. As you're going south till you reach the Collier County line, they're amber. And there's a sidewalk there. Turn around at the light, come back. Coming north, they're white with a sidewalk. I encourage people to drive that little stretch of road. It doesn't take that long at night, and choose for yourself what makes sense. And then let me know. I have my opinion. I want other people to have their opinion. Now, and that obviously doesn't take into account the requirements from FDOT, or it's just people have asked,
it's just a
what
visual,
does it look like? The spacing, I don't know if the spacing would be the same, and I don't know what the amber lights are, and I don't know what the Kelvin temperature is yet for the white lights. But it'll give you the visual that you were just describing. It's a bigger road, but it has a sidewalk. And really pay attention, not just to the road, but the sidewalk. Because that's essentially what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to light sidewalk to sidewalk. And I think we can all agree that there's nobody on this island that will disagree with this, that we need the coverage, whether it's amber or it's white. We need the coverage. And if it takes more lights and we go with amber, so be it. It comes to cost. We just have to make a decision, I believe, and we have to do what's right for the island, not just because we are told it's the best idea, but because we have to think ahead. I mean, then we're talking about the town. I'm sorry, it's that caffeine. And I'm obviously passionate about lighting because I work in that industry, but there are options out there that the town can do, but it all comes at a cost. So
a cost and the approval of the county.
A very large cost and approval of the town. I mean, one thing that they've both said is a town-owned system would give us our most flexibility, but it comes at a massive cost that I don't think the town can afford they want to pay for.
The thing that I want to bring up is nothing matters about what you guys say or what town lighting says. It's a county road. You can't do anything without the county's approval. And nobody has been. I watch the county meetings. Why isn't somebody from the town council always at a county meeting, always speaking for 3 minutes at a county meeting, always making sure the residents on Fort Myers Beach can see that somebody from the town council? You see, sometimes to me, Murphy Brown wants the town to be incorporated for certain things, but then other things, oh, it's the county's fault. Well, go to the county meeting and make a case for it. It's always like, we're Fort Myers Beach, you have to come to us. That's a county road. You guys wasted all that money, and no matter what you come up with, the county has to approve it. So if there's an accident on Estero Boulevard, it's really the county's responsibility. If a turtle gets crushed because it got disoriented, it's the county's responsibility, right? So what are you worried about?
Well, it's my responsibility. Public safety, as I've been extremely upfront about since I started running,
for sure,
has been my number one issue, and it's not going to change. That falls within that umbrella, in my opinion. So I'm very invested in it, because if one person gets hurt on this island because I didn't do something, that's on me. That's not something that I want. I don't ever want to have to go tell somebody that something happened because I didn't do everything I could do to make it happen.
Well, we had Kevin Ruane. Let me just finish my thought here, and then you go on. We had Kevin Ruane on a couple weeks ago, and we asked him about the lights, and he said they're committed to the crosswalks. That was it.
Well,
that was it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else you would expect him to say. I mean,
well, why isn't the county committed to the lighting? Why isn't there some kind of camaraderie or brothership or whatever you want to call it about working together to make what everyone claims to say is one of the busiest roads in all of Lee County safer? It is pitch dark on that road at night. Pitch dark.
Agree.
Somebody will die on that road.
Well, unfortunately, I agree with you. I think it's not a matter of, well, people already have.
And I don't mean to be picking on you. I'm just.
You're not picking on me.
When $180,000 was basically flushed down the crapper because you got no recommendation and you can't do anything without the county. Go ahead, dear.
So when you're talking about the cost, the expense of it, how is that? Is that going to be a shared cost? Has none of that been worked out?
Well, no. Not as far as talking about with the county.
Yes.
No, I mean, it's hard to discuss costs until you have a decision, until you.
Well, but you're looking at costs of different options right now. So how can you pick when you don't know? You know what I'm saying? What you would bear responsibility for and what they would bear responsibility for.
Well, if you remember back, I'm just going to use this as an example, but the landscaping along Estero Boulevard, the town took over that based on communication between the county and the town. This is how much we're willing to give you. You are now in charge of taking it over. I don't know if that's how the lighting will go, but in the limited experience that I've had with dealing with the county on some of these issues, it seems like that's kind of the model is, this is what we'll put into it. Anything above that is on you. Now that doesn't mean that can't change or that can't be talked about. My understanding and my experience with dealing with the commissioners is they're very open to communication. They're very open to talking about things. They want to see the beach be the best it can because they have a vested interest in it too. I mean, everybody knows it's the most visited place.
I want to talk about the communication part. One of the reasons that the last council pushed for these terms to be expanded to 4 years. They used to be 3 years for anybody new listening. They used to be 3 years and kind of stuttered, which I thought was perfect because if the House of Representatives can run for 2 years, certainly Fort Myers Beach can run for 3 years. But one of the reasons, and Anita was behind this big time, was because they wanted to be able to have somebody in there longer so there could be better communication with Lee County or with whoever they're communicating with. And here we are talking about the same thing, and you're in 4-year terms. I can't believe that somebody is not communicating with Lee County. Like, why aren't the managers communicating with each other? Isn't that what you pay Roger $250,000 for, so that you don't have to waste money on a consultant when the busiest road in Lee County is still pitch dark at night? That's the thing that I don't understand. Like, you bring up communication. Why is it still failing?
What I was talking about with communication, and Anita wasn't wrong, or that reasoning wasn't wrong. When you moved into your house, did you get to know your neighbor right away? It took time for you to build up the relationship to talk to your neighbor, and maybe you have him over for dinner. And I think that's what the discussion was. It wasn't done just for communication. It was done to save the town money. That was part of the issue with the elections. The town saved money by going to being in line with the federal elections. But the communication thing, this job does take time. It takes you time to understand how the processes work. And
Murphy Brown's been on this island since it was incorporated.
Well, I can't speak to my other
he's the mayor
I'm
now.
talking about myself.
Well, for sure, but he's the mayor now, and he was the one that brought up the fact that the county, at the end of that whole discussion, that the county has the final say on it. Well, what have you been doing to talk to the county about the Estero Boulevard? I mean, that's the thing is, I think it's like, well, you didn't call me, or I didn't call you, or you didn't call me. That's the whole thing. It's like when he said,
are we talking about lights or?
Yeah. When he said that, sorry if I'm getting on a little editorializing thing here.
I can't speak for what my fellow council members have talked to the county about. I can tell you what I've done.
Sure.
And,
you've been very involved.
If I reach out to our county commissioner, if he doesn't take the call, he calls me back. We talk about Estero Boulevard. We talk about the arches. We talk about anything that has to do with Fort Myers Beach. We talk about the bike markings. We talk about all kinds of stuff. So he and I communicate. Now, do I go and stand in front of the meeting and communicate to all of them? At this point, I have not. Doesn't mean I'm not going to.
Okay.
But I like to not waste people's time. And not that would be wasting time by me being there, but to talk about something that we collectively have not made a decision on is a little premature. I think once we decide this is what we feel is best for Fort Myers Beach, now we have a reason to go to them and say, this is what we want. What can you do to help us?
I think I hear what you're saying, but if you don't know what the list of options are that the county's going to approve,
well, then
it just seems like.
But then again, if it goes back to, if we knew what the county was going to approve,
it's a circle thing right here. The whole thing's a circle. You know what?
And we wouldn't have to have these discussions. And at the end of the day, whatever we decide,
right.
Well, but if you look at the MPO that they did, that was their study.
Yeah.
Right, but you made the point that maybe that MPO didn't look at.
Why don't you go to?
Well,
that was the council's argument at the time that it didn't look at it. That was the argument. They're like, well, that was very one-sided MPO. That's the reason to have the other consultants. That's why it went back. But the county did their study.
Right.
They got their recommendation. If I'm just looking at it from the outside in, and I don't know this, I can't speak for the county, but if I'm looking at it from the outside in, to me, it sounds like they have their recommendation.
Right. So why doesn't somebody from and then we'll move on to the next topic. And we apologize, folks, for hanging on this one, but it's important.
It's that caffeine.
The lighting thing's important. Why doesn't somebody from the town of Fort Myers Beach go to Lee County and say, we want to take over the road. We'll pay $1 for it. Let us have the road. Then you have total decision-making for all you need, right?
Well, I guess I don't know the logistics behind that or legalities behind that, but my guess
you don't think Lee County would say, here it is, sign the dotted line?
Maybe they would. Maybe they would.
I mean, they did all the work for the beach, right? I mean,
is that something that the community really wants to do?
Who knows?
Do we want to take over all that financial responsibility?
So let me ask
do we want to take over all that liability? I don't know. It's a question that could be asked.
What else do you think you need or the council needs to make a decision?
Well, in my opinion, it's going to come down to three things. It's going to come down to the coverage that we need, which we all are in agreement. FWC and FDOT have their requirements, which are on total ends of the spectrum, in my opinion.
No pun intended.
Right. It's going to come down to us simply making a decision. If in fact, we'll use amber lights. If in fact amber lights are required by law, why are we even having a discussion?
Everybody knows it's going to be amber, so I don't even know why we're wasting this amount of time. It's going to be amber at least half of the year, right?
I don't know that. I would never say never. I would certainly say that there's been a strong push for amber. I won't say that I'm. At the end of the day,
what are you for?
I'm honestly, I'm in favor of something that is a compromise. Not everybody's going to get what they want.
Not a dual source compromise.
That isn't a compromise.
Right.
That doesn't. I mean, if we're going to take the risk of doing something that is still in developmental phase, why don't we just take over the whole thing and do something that we have control over, where you can add the cameras, where you can add Wi-Fi, where you can add all this stuff that was mentioned that's out there. It's not new technology. It's available. If we are going to take that big of a risk, why don't we go all in and do something that's going to give us expansion? Now, I'm not advocating for it because it's extremely expensive, and I don't know that there's an appetite on this island to double or triple your taxes to be able to pay for it.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you.
Yeah.
So I put that in that category. But my mind, working in the industry and knowing what I'm talking about, I believe there's a happy medium that can work for everyone. You can properly shield lighting. Now, the closer you can get to the amber spectrum, hopefully everybody can see that with proper shielding, you can make that work.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not in favor of the 4,000 Kelvin. I said that, and I'll say it again, and I'm not in favor of the dual. But I'm in favor of something that is not specifically one side or another. I think this is an opportunity for the island to do something very proactive that will last a long time. And sure, there might be some issues where you have to turn off a light or reshield a light or change a light or do something. But I think that's the right move to be able to give every single person a little bit of something that they need and want. There's requirements on both sides.
We're getting
and then hope it's on the tariff.
We have a lot.
The light that, so I set 2 lights into the town and light to review that are on the tariff. They are not 4,000 Kelvin and they are not amber. Because one, I wanted to see if FP&L would approve it, and FWC. I don't know if FWC will ever say that anything that isn't amber will work, but if they will at least say we can live with it, it's a compromise. I think that's a win for everybody. And maybe they won't. Maybe they will just say we are not moving because the lower wavelength light is the best for the turtles. No, nobody's arguing that, but we, as I said in the meeting, we have. It's not just about one side or the other. It's there's more than just one thing we have to look at here.
All right.
There's money.
He wants to move on.
We've got so many other things to talk about with you, Dan.
I told you this caffeine's got me riled up.
And by the way, your wife says no more coffee for you. So you're and she's got that look on her face like
she's got that look that I get on my face. That is exactly like.
I just want everybody to know that it might sound like that we're getting on Dan's case, but we're not, because Dan.
I hope he doesn't feel that way.
I agreed with everything he said at that meeting, and we're happy that you're here. We're glad that you're here, and we appreciate that you're. That you come here and you talk about these things so that people,
you subject yourself to this.
And we have a very big audience.
Well, you didn't get into this job, or I didn't get into this job thinking it was going to be all roses and cupcakes.
Yeah. And so the next thing that we want to talk about. So you get into the regular meeting finally, and I say you because I mean it as a council.
Just say the town council.
They totally hoodwink the residents and jack up the rates on parking and vacation rentals without giving the public a chance to comment on that at all. It was such a under the table, nasty move to do to people, especially the people that are outside the community. When the visitors come over for season and they go to park, they're going to see $5, not $3 or $2 if they try and get a county spot. They're going to see $5. The first question is, do you really believe that people that come to the beach are going to pull up their phone, download an app, and look for a parking spot on Fort Myers Beach when they're only coming for a few days or a week?
Well, there's a yes and no answer. If there's an app and it's designed properly and you get the right information in, if I can look at an app and know specifically in real time where there's a spot, absolutely I'm going to use that app. Now, if I go and look at an app that just tells me there potentially could be some parking, but not know where it's at, it's pretty useless. Nobody's going to use it. It doesn't make sense. So it's going to take money, and it's going to take some technology, and it's going to take some infrastructure to be able to make that, an actual workable, usable. Because if you know that there's no parking before you get here, no specific parking spots available, and maybe it changes while you're
nobody's ever going to believe that on an app. People are always going to think somebody's leaving, and I'm going to get in that spot.
Well, I don't disagree with that. But your question was, would anybody use it?
You think that enough people are going to use it to make it worth jacking up the price, $2?
To me, I made my point. I want to commend Councilor Veach for having a plan, coming with a plan,
for sure,
and coming with an idea. I think that's great. As I said in the meeting, I disagree with only having a week to discuss it, and I voted against it.
So why?
So wait a minute. So the money for the parking fees is, I heard the conversation about the app, but I heard that the increase in those fees and the vacation rental fees is going into a contingency.
No,
well, that's
different.
So look at. I believe the numbers were like 600,000 for the parking increase based on, the average over the years. And then I don't remember what the exact number was for the short-term rentals increase, but that's potentially $1 million that we have no plan to use it for.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to have a discussion as to if we raise these fees, not that I was against it or gradually getting to it, if we have a plan of what that money is going to be using for. To use your example, there's potentially $1 million that's going to be in there, and we're going to have to figure out how to use it.
Yeah. And really, it's going in the general fund. It's going to be used for whatever.
Well,
right now.
Right now it could be used for anything. So that doesn't mean that if it's something that the public desires to it's important, whether it's lighting, whether it's public safety, whether it's
so
whatever it is.
On the fee increases.
Yeah, social
Jim,
programs.
A couple of meetings ago, Jim Adderholt said to people, I want you to think out of the box. I want you to think of different things. We got this renaissance going on and all this stuff going on. Think out of the box. So this is thinking out of the box. We're going to raise the prices on parking. We're going to raise the prices on, a monkey can do that. You can raise fees. You can raise taxes. That's not thinking out of the box. There was an app that was developed. We had the lady on our show. Somebody developed the app for Fort Myers Beach, and they dropped the ball on it. The town dropped the ball on it. They wanted nothing to do with the app for some reason. Why not build a parking garage on the other side of the bridge? Use the money that you're raising from this tax hike here and build a parking garage.
Well, that would be a question for Lee County. That's Lee County's land, not ours.
Right.
I mean, you had mentioned you wanted. Why doesn't people go to the county? That sounds like a good idea. Bring it to the county.
Does it always have to be on county property? Can you buy the property from the county? Can you find a spot on this side of the bridge? I mean, that would be a parking garage would solve all the parking problems.
Well, I've never built a parking garage. I don't.
Come on, Dan. We've all built a parking garage.
I don't know if it's financially a viable option or not. I don't know that.
Would you agree it's needed?
I would not disagree. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If you could find a great spot on the island to put one, I'd be all for it. But
so
$5 though is a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it is a lot. Do I think people are going to pay it? Sure. Are they going to be happy about it? No. To me, the bigger issue is, and I've been very vocal about this, it's the 2-hour limit. If I want to park my car there and spend $50 to stay there, what's the difference? Why do I have to leave after 2 hours? Now, I know I've been told that the businesses in the area have pushed for that.
Yeah.
That it was their choice to want to do the 2 hours, but any business I've talked to has not been in favor of the 2-hour limit. So
I would totally agree. If it's on the street in front of those businesses on Old San Carlos down there, it should be $7 and a 1 hour. I mean, you should be moving people in and out if it's in front of the business like that. But if it's a parking lot or underneath, and the other thing is I keep saying you raise the town council raised the prices to $5 and they block off all the parking under the bridge for some reason. There's construction trucks underneath the bridge and nobody knows when that's going to end.
Well, that was blocked off based on a council decision. We all, not just myself, all of us made the approval to allow that to happen. Now that's coming up and we get to make the decision. Do we want to renew it? Do we not want to renew it? I believe by Monday there's going to be a section of that bridge. It's under the bridge. It's going to be opened back up. So it was a policy decision that was made by council. So again, if people are angry, don't be angry at staff. Be angry at us. We're the ones that.
Why did they vote? Why did they vote yes for that? Why did they decide to block that off? What was that all about?
Well, you needed, just like the staging that's needed over here. You need places to stage to get some of these projects done. They try to do it as fast as they can. Parking it, but. Again, we are dealing with a small, limited space,
sure,
and we have everybody has to work together to make it happen. We're never going to have enough parking, no matter what we do,
unless you have a parking garage somewhere.
Is that even going to be enough parking?
We have more than we have now.
We have a great Lee County has a great park and ride off the island that doesn't get utilized enough.
Yeah, I mean that free spot
ride
right
your bikes,
there.
Carpool.
Right,
I mean, there's certainly.
I just think I agree with all of that. I just think. A 500% increase on vacation rental applications is absurd. It's obscene. That's an obscene number to raise that price to.
Again, I commend Councilor Veach for having a thought as far as affordable housing. It's needed, or workforce housing. I know there was some discussion about which term to use.
Right.
That's great. We need it, but we need. I believe the discussion was about trying to find someone to start a nonprofit to be able to start to do this. I thought to myself, well, what better person to get involved in the short-term rentals? They need people that they have workers, they have maintenance people, they have cleaners, they have people that need to live on the island too. Why not sit down with them, have a town hall, have whatever you need to do. Let's sit down with them. Maybe they want to start, maybe they could collectively they want to start a 501c3 that they can input some money into to help solve some of the issue. But again, there was no discussions, there was no plan. We had 1 week. Here's what it is. Take it or leave it.
There was no community input at all on any of that. That's the thing that drives me crazy about government. When you do stuff like that, you're going to raise fees and you're not going to ask for any input.
Can I just real quick? So the parking fees, and you mentioned the folks working on the beach. The folks that work on the beach that can't afford to live on the beach, and I don't know how many that is or isn't. Do they have any special parking permit so they're not going to have to pay $5 an hour to park while they're trying to work?
Yeah, you can buy a. You can buy a, but if there's no place to park, or if
No, but I mean,
so now if I may, let's say I
is
work
it a
at Peach
resident
Timeout
thing?
and I have to park out there because it's the only spot available, and I make $15 an hour.
It's ridiculous.
Now every hour I have to pay
That's what I'm
one-third
saying.
of my salary to park.
So
That's what I'm asking.
I asked the employees here at Pete's what they do. They park here until the lot over at SOB opens up, and everybody knows that the guy at SOB has always promised he's never going to go above $5.
Mm-hmm.
So they pay $5 for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously fills up quickly because he's always said he's never going to, jack the price up on people. So they park over there, which isn't the end of the world, I guess. $5. I don't think the employees on the beach should have to pay to park at all. I mean, they're not getting paid.
Is there a thing that they can get, or would?
Yeah, that fee did not get increased, but you can buy a sticker. Yes,
whether you're a resident or not.
I believe you have to be. I don't want to speak.
Well,
I believe you have to be a resident.
Yeah, you should have to be a resident.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. The folks that work here that don't live here, can they get something?
Stop yelling.
Special?
Well, I don't know that answer, but I'll get it for you.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. So, okay, Dan, I know this is getting crazy
now we're
time-wise
getting to public safety.
Yeah, we got to get to the public safety thing because that.
Did you have coffee this morning?
That was no, Dan. Cup of coffee for Dan, please. Megan, he needs some coffee over here. She's just listening to her phone on a 30-second delay.
She's getting
so
in a minute.
The community policing went down in a ball of fire last week, and which was a shame. I mean, it sounded like it was going to be a good program, and you were for it. You were pushing for it, and the A team was pushing for it. Jim was also pushing for it, and it just it didn't work out. And so, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't. As I said, I don't. From the very beginning, when I got involved, I said that the number one thing for me was public safety. During the day when the sun rises and the sun sets, everything's roses and peachy. And I know the county sheriff's office has said that we are safe, and we are safe. But that doesn't mean you can't be safer. We have a beautiful beach. People love to come here. I want to make it the safest. I want to read in an article someday that Fort Myers Beach is the safest beach to bring your family. That's what I'm striving for. I have a daughter. I've been not shy about it. I want to know that she can walk around this island anytime she wants and not have to worry about potentially something bad happening. Now, it can happen anywhere. Mayor Murphy was right. What happened on the beach that day with that shooting, you could have had 500 cops on the island. It wasn't going to stop that. But having extra police can stop some of the things like people defecating in your bushes, electric bikes riding down the sidewalk, maybe helping someone that doesn't know that there's programs available, someone without a home, helping them, getting them to the churches or getting them to the county resources that they need. That's the kind of things that community policing can do. They can meet with people, and I feel like I'm regurgitating the same information I've been talking about for a year, but it's.
And I don't think you should stop. I don't think you should stop talking about it.
I have no intention on stopping.
So
I'm going to keep pushing for public safety because I think it's very important. What's one of our main jobs is to protect the visitors and the residents of this island, and I won't stop. I respect the will of the council. The majority decided it wasn't needed at this time, or they don't want to pay for it this time. I respect their decisions. You make your case, you do everything you can do, and at the end of the day, it comes down to 5 people, and you go with the majority.
So that the situation, the Memorial Day thing, there's the thought is that if there were more police presence, that wouldn't have been a deterrent to.
It might have been. Good question.
Well, if people are going to do bad things, they're going to do bad things. There's no amount of police presence that's going to stop them. Short of stopping every single person that comes onto the bridge and running them through a metal detector, you're not going to stop a bad person that's.
You're not
going to
stop 100% of it. But if the goal is to make it safer, is it not the thought that more police presence versus, in addition to better lighting and the other, and in addition to some camera, I mean, it isn't a one size fits all, but isn't the thought that if there's a police presence, a greater police presence, that's going to be a deterrent?
Oh, I absolutely think it will. I think, I always use the term, you keep the honest people honest. If someone has an idea.
I'm just going to throw this in here because that's Murphy Brown's girlfriend or wife. I don't know if they're married or not. Your concern about safety, I don't know if this is directed toward you. You didn't vote for the mask mandate. I don't know what that means. I don't know who she's directing it.
Those that did vote for the mask mandate, are they really concerned about safety because they didn't vote for community policing?
Right. It's a dumb question. I agree with you.
It's two different things.
Yeah, it's two different things. So, but let me before you go on to the next thing that
and I voted against the mask mandate, not because I was against the science or I thought it wasn't a good idea. I voted for people to have their freedom of choice. That's what I voted for.
Thank you. So I just want to go back to one thing that, yes, the sheriff's deputy or Captain Layler that came to the council. He said, yes, you're safe.
You did.
The beach is safe. Okay. No sheriff or sheriff's deputy or sheriff assistant or whatever you want to call them is ever going to come in front of a council and say, no, you're not safe.
Oh, of course.
So whether you believe that or not is a different thing, but that was used by Murphy Brown as a way to say we don't need community policing because he already said we're safe. And it's again, here we go, back and forth with the county. The county's responsibility is if they decide that we're not safe, they should add more people at no cost to the town. So you don't really sometimes know whether you want to be incorporated or whether you want to be part of the county until it suits your needs. That's the way I see it. It's like, of course he's going to say you're safe. He's never going to say you're not safe. That would be silly.
I know, but Dan just said, and so let it go, that it's about making it safer. I mean,
I agree with Dan.
He can't argue that point with you because
he's also not going to say what I just said because he's a council member.
All right. So when you're talking about looking out of the box at different solutions, when you look at other communities that are similar in size, what kinds of things are they doing for?
Well, as Councilor Idle brought up, Sanibel, too often, in my opinion, we try to compare ourselves to what Sanibel does.
Well, I find it interesting. All right, but let me just say, I find it interesting that the comparison can be made for parking, but not for safety.
Well, I can't say it any better than you just did. So they choose to pay for 26 police officers. I believe it's 26 police officers that their community pays for.
And to happily, be fair, they're not all working at the same time.
Of course, we knew that before the vice mayor mocked the whole thing. But yeah,
well, I will say that whether you agree with their policies or you don't, I think they've earned their respect to be called mayor or Madam Vice Mayor. I know you keep calling Ray Murphy Brown, and
thank you, because I don't like that either.
That's fine.
And you're allowed to say what you want, but I think that whether you agree with them or you don't, they deserve the respect. Just like I would expect someone to not call me names, even though they don't maybe agree with everything that I say. I try to be respectful to everyone and understand their opinion and move on. So that being said, Bonita, they have, I think it's 14 now, 16 community police officers that they have paid for. Their numbers don't lie.
To be fair, though, that is a much bigger community.
Right.
And
it is with a much larger budget.
Treasure Island, I've heard some comparisons made with Treasure Island when you were talking about lighting and stuff.
Sure.
They have a population of 6,889. They have one detective, one lieutenant, 4 shifts totaling 10 officers, plus 1 community service officer and 1 Marine patrol. Juneau Beach has 16-member police department. They're a town of 3,586. They also have the same government setup, and there's a couple others. There's one community that cross trains their fire with their police to kind of think out of the box to have it dual purpose. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there are some other things to compare to when you're looking at this.
Well, I agree, and my understanding is that I don't believe that the people that voted against it are against having more police. I think it's against paying for it. At least that's the way I take their opposition to it. They don't feel that the town should have to pay for it, and that's their right. I'm also the person that doesn't think the town should have to invest in taking care of. If you're a homeowner, how you take care of your home is on you. Fort Myers Beach is our home. If we want to enforce some of the things that are out there that we can't currently enforce because we do not have the manpower to do it, I believe that's on the town to spend the extra money. I understand. I've never been a fan of saying it's their problem, they should pay for it. If it's a problem that bothers you that much, then you need to step up and come up with a solution. And if the community doesn't want to pay for it, they will let you know. For sure. I can tell you, I did not have one single person over all these months of talking about it come to me, email me, call me, and say, we are not for it. I did have people come to me and say, I understand you're going to raise our taxes potentially to pay for community policing. Although I'm not in favor of raising taxes, at least I know what it's going to and I can support it. Mm-hmm. But I did not have one single person tell me they were against it. So Maybe the people that voted against it did hear something. I don't get to hear all their conversations, so I don't know.
Well,
but I can
will the
tell you
public-
personally, I did not have one person reach out to me and say they weren't in favor of it.
Will the public? So I mean, it's a done deal now
Well, this year, yeah.
for this year.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to keep fighting.
So the public, I mean, if they want to speak out in favor for the next time it could come up, they should consider.
Well, and there's an election. Finally, there's an election next year where two people will hopefully be elected. Two new people will be elected. Hopefully, at least one that gives the A team a better chance to get their stuff across the finish line.
Is there going forward? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to keep fighting for them because I think it's something the community needs, and I think it's something the community wants.
So, and I think you make the point you were talking about. You know, if there's a problem in your community, and it's not necessary, it's that, but it's also just about, like you said, making it better. You can always work on safety. Safety is a number one priority especially for a tourist area where you have people, coming and going often. So
well, Dan, if there was ever over the 4th of July, that you saw the police presence that was down here. Now, the county, the sheriff's office picked up part of that. The town picked up part of that. But when you came over that bridge, the message was very clear. If you're going to do something bad, don't do it here.
And I think part of that.
Well, that gets back to my point of saying, if there was more police here.
But let's be 100% honest about it too, Dan. I think part of the 4th of July was a result of the failure of Memorial Day.
Well, I would definitely say it had a lot to do with it. I can tell you, I went and met with the sheriff and his command team after I got back in town. I wasn't here for that event over Memorial Weekend. But the day I got back, I reached out to the sheriff's office and asked if I could meet with them to discuss what happened. And what we were going to do going forward. And they were gladly sat down. There was 6-8 of them in the room with the sheriff and myself. And we talked about, and that's when I got to view the command center. Right. And that's when I started talking about the cameras not being on the island and how much they can really see what's going on. There's resources there. So
let's talk about the cameras.
Wait a minute. I just want to say, and kudos, because they had the eye in the sky. I think it is right in the spot.
Yeah, they parked
near
that
where
huge
the trouble. Yes,
and they had the tethered drones that would go up that never have to come down, so they can see the beach. It expands their view
on the 4th of July.
On the 4th of July, but I think it was very clear when you
did they have that on Memorial Day?
Any of that? I don't know that.
Okay,
I don't know that.
So
I know I don't think the big mobile command center was here, but I don't know if there was drones or not. I don't know.
So let's talk about the Public Safety Committee just for a quick second. You've got a Public Safety Committee that, in watching all the meetings, works very hard on different things, from bicycle safety to the community policing. You have Jim Nickel, who's a retired police officer on that committee. They recommended 6-0, or I think it's 6. It was unanimous for at least 2 community police officers. Jim, a police officer, recommended 4, that you should start with 4 police officers. Why don't you just disband the Public Safety Committee? I mean, they're completely wasting their time, and it was not even brought up at the meeting, maybe briefly, by Jim during his monologue there that he shortened about the community policing. That they're just ignored.
I wouldn't say that they were ignored. They obviously didn't believe the same thing that the Public Safety Committee believed, and that's unfortunate. But I think that I really want to believe that myself and the fellow council members, we pay attention to what these committees are saying. We may not always agree with some of the things that they say. In this case, the majority of the council didn't feel that the time they spent and the surveys that they put out and the input that came back from the community was worthwhile to vote for. So you'd have to ask the people that voted against it why they didn't take the recommendation.
It's really a rhetorical question because I know you're in favor of it. So
yeah, I mean, what I like about what the Public Safety Committee did, and Murph and all the other committees, is they spend volunteer countless hours, countless hours in researching and doing work and finding the data and making a case and spending arguments to come up with a recommendation for the council. They do a lot of the legwork, much like the town staff does for us. They bring it to us. We have to read it and make the best informed decision we can based on what they send to us. And I will tell you that they knew I was very much in favor of community policing because I'm the liaison for that committee. It didn't sway their opinions, in my opinion. They did their due diligence. They put together a survey. They sent it out to the public. The people that responded that they were in favor for it. So they went through and did the work that they felt was needed to be able to make the decision that they could confidently recommend to the council what their recommendations were.
And so just to be clear, they presented the survey, which was in favor of adding police officers, whatever. And they presented data to support that.
They did.
Okay.
Now, so what happened in the budget was that you put $25,000 in for cameras after taking the money out for community policing, among a couple other things. But I wanted to talk about the cameras real quick. Are the cameras going to be recording?
They go. My understanding, we haven't picked which type of camera. We just approved that there's going to be cameras. And I want to be clear. I know there's been some reports in some of the local media papers and
Not me.
stuff. No, that the town is purchasing cameras. What we're talking about is not purchasing cameras. We're talking about leasing cameras.
Okay.
So the $25,000 that was approved is going to be a reoccurring expense.
All
It
right.
is just like community policing would be a reoccurring expense. It's not a one and done.
Okay.
These cameras are very, very, very expensive. But what we get with that is if something breaks, we get a new one. It's just like leasing your car. When your lease is up, you get a new car if you want a new car.
Okay, but are they going to be recording?
They will be. The information will be put up into the cloud. How long depends on how much money you want to
Okay,
spend. It
gotcha.
could be 30 days. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 6 months. It just
All right.
depends on how much you want to pay to store it. Much like some of your cameras at home. If you have wireless cameras at home, you pay for cloud storage. And depending on how much you want to pay, depends on how much storage you get. It's that simple.
Where are they going to go?
They haven't been finalized, but I can tell you the staff has worked with the Lee County Sheriff's Office and their team to come up with what's the best fit for everyone, where they think strategically based on some of the stuff that they deal with, where they should go. And it'll come down to the policy of the town council to decide where we put them. I can almost guarantee at the base of each of the bridges. I think if they're trying to talk about 10, potentially more, we can always add more.
And so
I
was
think
there
it's gonna
data
be beneficial.
presented about how effective cameras are on their own?
Well, I think there's enough data out there there's a reason people are putting them on their houses because they want to be safer. There's a
Right.
reason that you're putting them on
Yes.
streetlights because you want to be safer. I mean, they're there they're not going to stop crime, but they're definitely going to help solve crimes. And it's going to help because basically right now, there's nothing that the sheriff's office can tap into should a car go speeding down or if there is a hit and run. There's nothing that they can use to physically go back and see what kind of car was it, what color was it, what did the person look like, what was the license plate number. With these, it'll allow that to happen, and it hopefully help solve some of the crimes.
So this council voted to solve crime rather than stop crime.
Now you're putting words in my
All
mouth.
right.
No,
I just
no,
want to.
no, no.
Well, don't you? I think that.
No,
when
my
you-
point was that community policing and cameras don't have to be one lump thing. They do
True.
two different things.
True. Yeah.
But I think it's safe
But
to
the
say
goal
that
is the
they
same.
work.
Yeah.
They work in concert to
Certainly.
provide.
Are they gonna? Are they gonna?
I mean-
record,
It goes back to you can always be safer. There's no such thing as having
Right.
enough safety.
but,
are they going to record speeders and things like that too, or is it basically?
So there's a misconception that Big Brother's watching all the
Well,
time.
for sure,
Now,
always.
I can tell you.
Well, they are.
If you see all the cameras that this command room monitors, there's cameras at schools.
Yeah.
There's cameras in places that they aren't watching for speeders. They aren't sending police officers after speeders. They're there. If something happens, they can get eyes on the ground. If God forbid, somewhere in the county, there's a shootout, they can tap into that camera, see what's going on, get a bird's eye view of what they're getting into before they get there. That's a big thing.
I guess it just, well, I don't know if you said it or I said it. It doesn't, if it's an either, it just feels like an either or thing. And it seems like it should be a both thing.
Well, that's how it turned out. I
This
was
time.
definitely advocating for it to be a both thing because there was money in the budget to do both. As Roger had said many times,
There's going to be $1 million coming in. Yeah.
Well, don't think for 1 minute I'm not going to push for it to go to public safety.
Real quick on the 500% increase on the vacation rentals. If you collect that money, where are you going to build the housing? Being that they can't find a place for a parking garage, where are they going to build the affordable housing?
Nobody has that answer yet.
Okay, so that's an unknown also. So they raised the fee. Well, I don't want to.
I think we covered that.
Yeah.
Let him go.
Oh, I know. You got a big table brewing over there
Can
now,
I buy
Dan.
you a
so
cup of coffee?
yeah, you need some coffee,
No,
Dan.
no.
Hey, Dan, is
No.
there anything that we missed that you want to get across? I appreciate you answering everything. I mean, I know I've been an ass to you with these questions, but I'm totally on your side. But thanks for coming on. And
that to go back to the lighting thing, I really want to thank the members of MRF and their committee. as everyone knows, they are very, very vocal. They're very intelligent. They do a lot of homework. They dig in. They provide us with constant information. The members of the Public Safety Committee, same thing. And I'm specifically talking about lighting. Both those committees work very, very hard. Anything that they're tasked with doing, they do it. They do it very, very well. And I want to publicly thank them for doing that, because it's not easy. I was on committees too, and it's not always easy. Sometimes you feel like it's a thankless job, but I think they need to know that personally, I very much appreciate what they're doing. We may not always agree on the outcome of what we were searching, but know that I'm listening at least, and I'm paying attention, and I appreciate what they do.
You guys renewed the contract for the town attorney the other day. There was no public review. There was nothing in writing that was filed publicly. It was phone calls that you all made privately with Mr. Herron, and you all agreed that he's doing a good job for the town.
I don't necessarily think everybody agreed that he's doing a good job. As I said, John and I have had private conversations. I've let him know things that I'm not happy about. I've let him know things that I would like to see improved, and I'm sure the other council members have as well. John is a very smart guy. I think he knows the law. I think he does the best he can.
Well, and I think that's how reviews go. I mean, when you get reviewed by your employer, you talk about your strengths and your weaknesses.
I don't
it's
get
not
reviewed.
just
It was advertised that it was going to be discussed at the meeting. It was on there. It was an agenda item that the town's attorney, if people had an issue with the town attorney, that was the time. Or send us emails, or send us a phone call, do something. I know it's not what you want to hear, but
I'm not saying he's doing a bad. I'm not saying he's doing a
emails.
bad job. I just think that I think the sunshine law was kind of scooted around with that, being that you guys all made personal phone calls. Nobody knows what the disagreements are. Nobody knows what I mean, he's paid $10,000 a month or something like that, plus other things, and nobody knows what you disagree with.
Well, it's not a sunshine violation if I have a conversation with Roger, or I have a conversation with the town
Technically, you're
attorney.
right.
We talk about things all the time that are still in litigation.
Good point.
That we can't talk about publicly.
But what are your disagreements with him on?
Well, much like
None of your
Madam Vice
business.
Mayor, well, I'll be happy to share them with you. It's you want to know, I'll answer. I'm not happy with the fact that he lives on the other coast. Sometimes it seems like he gets in a way. I don't know that he's always focused, because he's got a lot of other things going on. These are all things that I've said to him, but it's not all things that can't be corrected. And unless you tell people what your problems are, you can't work on fixing them. So I'm a firm believer in try to resolve any differences before just saying I'm done with you, because people work hard to get to where they're at, no matter what you do. Yeah. And I think that everybody earns the right and the respect to be able to at least hear your grievances or your disappointments, and you work
given a chance to
And if it doesn't get corrected, then we cross that bridge when we cross that bridge.
What do you think is going to happen with the Dune walkover?
Well, my vote has not right now. My opinion has not changed since the time I was on the LPA. I voted for it in the LPA because I thought it was within their rights based on every single thing that was presented to us. The entire LPA agreed that it was the right thing to do. I don't see anything that has changed. I don't agree with some of the tactics that have gone on to get to where we're at, but my position still hasn't changed. I believe as a property owner, they have done everything within their rights to get what they asked for. And I voted for it. I would still vote for it unless someone shows me different, unless the courts tell me that I'm wrong based on the information that I've been given. And I would do the same for any other property owner on it. If they felt, or if I felt, if the rules, I felt the way I interpret the rules and the way I've been told the rules tell me that you're within your right to do something, you're okay to do it. The biggest stipulation I had, or the biggest problem I had, was the holdup on public benefit. There's a thing in the code that says public benefit. If you're asking for things, you got to provide some sort of public benefit. But there's no definition about what that public benefit is. Is public benefit 2 people? Is it 100 people? Is it the entire island? What is the definition of public benefit?
Good
We're
question.
working on trying to correct some of that thing. So without a definition of what public benefit is, it's hard for me to say that they're not achieving that part of what they're required to do.
How much, estimate how much money the town taxpayers are in fighting that one property owner?
I don't know. I've asked for that number. I have not received it yet.
Okay. If the town loses $500,000, $1 million to that on that cause, should somebody have to pay for that?
Well, the taxpayers are paying for it.
I don't mean that. I mean with their job.
Oh, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, again, it comes down to 5 people. We
Yeah.
all have
Yeah.
a vote, and the majority wins. And I can't speak as to why the other members are for it or against it. I can only tell you why I made the decision I've made so far.
Do you like being in government?
I do enjoy it. There are some times where I'm like
today.
No,
really
not at all.
sucks today.
No, this doesn't bother me at all. I do not have a problem with people telling me they don't agree with what I vote for, what policies I vote for. I do have a problem with people name calling. I do have a problem with people being belligerent and just jerks about something that they may or may not know all the facts on.
Civil discourse.
So, yeah, it's okay for people
It's
to
okay
disagree.
that's right.
But I think
right.
you need to be respectful. Everybody's earned the right to be respected until they're giving you a right not to be respected.
Do you get a lot of other than from me? Do you get a lot of disrespectful feedback?
Well, not necessarily to my face. I mean, I do get some emails saying that they don't agree with, some of the things. Obviously, we went through the COVID and the way that I voted through the mask mandates. I got some emails that were not very polite. We do have certain people on the island that send emails that are using very bad words, saying very nasty things, and it's not a way for you to get your point across. You don't need to swear. You don't need to call names to get your point across. I think if you're educated on what you're talking about and you make a strong point, then you can at least have a conversation about it and try to work it out. Sometimes it'll work out. Sometimes it won't.
Do you think the council needs to change next year in order to get some of the things that you want passed?
Not necessarily. People could change their mind all the time. At the end of the day, whoever's sitting up there, we all have to work together. Sometimes you're going to agree on things. Sometimes you're not going to agree on things. All you can do is go up there, make your best point, and hope everybody sees it your way.
Well, and I would say that all of the town councilors listen to their constituents. So if the townspeople can write to the town councilors and express what they want, then that's what it should be reflected, right?
Well, that's who we work for.
Right. So
your voice is, you're the ones that elected us into these seats.
It's not really their opinion. I mean, their opinion. It's not really, it's their opinion on what their constituents, they've heard from their people, correct?
And it doesn't necessarily mean that because you hear from 5 people one way or another on an issue, that's the way you should go. It just means that they're the ones being vocal. And without having, say, it's one side of the aisle that they're the 5 people we're talking about, but you don't hear anything from everybody else. Well, as a policymaker, you've only got a little feedback to go on. You reach out, try to get things, and then you have your input, and you try to make the best decision you can and move forward. But I'll keep saying it. The more and more people get involved, whether it's sending emails, calls, texts, whatever you need to do, reach out to us and let us know your opinion one way or another.
Well, Dan, thanks so much for coming on and staying on for so long. It's almost 11 o'clock. You've got the whole family
and
there.
there's actually people still paying attention?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get a coffee.
Big audience.
Right.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Dan
Coffee's
Allers,
on me.
everybody. All righty.
All right, wrap this up.
Wait, you got to read this thing. You can't leave these guys out. These guys just renewed again for another 20 weeks.
So if you need to take a breather after this hour and a half discussion, give Fort Myers Tiki Tours a call at 239-887-0042. You can have some relaxing time, not talk anything about politics. Just enjoy your time, listen to the stories of the captain, bring 5 of your friends, bring your food, what you want to drink. They'll provide the cooler and the ice and the captain. And you will take a leisurely 90-minute cruise up and down the bay. You might see lots of manatees, dolphins, turtles. Who knows what's out there that you'll see. They offer sunset cruises, dolphin cruises. You can go out for a birthday party. You can go out for Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever you would like. So give them a call at 239-887-0042. They're over at Salty Sam's. Get over there now and get on a tiki boat.
Big thanks to Dan and Janeen for coming in. And Dan answered a lot of questions. I don't know if you saw me holding this up. The whole show I was holding this up.
After this, he's probably like, no, thank you.
No, by the way, speaking of Jim, I wanted to say congratulations to Ron Martin for being he's hired as the fire chief. They're working out the contract now, so that's why I kind of hesitated there. But last week on Wednesday, they kind of passed the baton off to Ron, and they're working out a contract deal. And then Chief Love is going to move on to his next job. And I was talking to Ron on the phone the other day, and he said he's been around here from like 2003 or so. He's been here a long time.
Wow.
And do you know what his nickname is? Tiny. Yeah. And
We'll have to get him on to talk about
yeah,
that.
well, yeah, he called me and told me where the whole nickname came from, but he is going to come on as soon as the contract stuff is all worked out, and it'd be great to have him on. But congratulations to Ron, the next fire chief of Fort Myers Beach, and good luck to Chief Love. Hopefully we'll get Chief Love on one more time before he goes to where the hell's he going? Like Colorado or something, where it's cold as crap.
I thought it was Minnesota.
Somewhere up there. It's way up there where it's cold. Like it snows 9 months out of the year wherever
Sorry.
he's going. It's it's not like Florida.
It's not here,
Yeah, we don't care where he goes. If he's leaving, I mean, we care that he's here. We want him to stay. But when you're gone, you're gone. I mean, that's the way it goes. See you around, clown. I'm just kidding.
All right, my watch is telling me to stand up.
All right, everybody. So thank you so much to Dan for putting up with all that. Dear, you asked him some tough questions.
I did?
It was, you were kind of rude to him a little bit, and he's never coming on again. Yeah, get him a coffee. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. And if you missed the first part of the show, you're going to have to rewind your tape, your reel-to-reel tape, to see the race that I signed the wife up for. And that's coming up in November, so we're going to have a Saturday off in November when we go do the Savage race in the Dade City or somewhere up there, and that's later on in November. So next week, we're going to have Dan Spears on because Dan is from BMI, and, the Songwriter Festival is going on. The Island Hopper is in Sanibel. Captiva this weekend, and next weekend they'll be down here. You need to download the app. They have an app, and the app lists where everybody's playing, and you'll be able to see where Jay Allen and Kylie Morgan are playing, and everybody else that's playing, and they're going to be all over the beach. So download the app, and we will be back next Saturday. And remember to sign up for the newsletter, which you'll get every Tuesday and Friday at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have an update on the Foot of the Bridge stuff in the Tuesday newsletter. So thanks for sticking around for so long, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.